Thanks a lot for staying with our special coverage as the Prime Minister files his nomination from Varanasi for the third consecutive time. Hoping for a hat-trick, of course, but the numbers of the victory margin is what everybody is waiting for. I'm Shivani Gupta. Joining me is our consulting editor, Rahul Shivshankar. Rahul, the Prime Minister there, doing everything that he's known for, wearing his religiosity on his sleeve, unabashedly. This is something we've seen change in Indian politics at the very helm of Indian government over the last 10 years.
You know, when we look at Indian politics in such short spans, we might actually notice these things. But religiosity has been part of Indian politics for a very long time. And it has existed and been played out. You know, politics is played in the shadows but practiced pretty much in the open. But what we are seeing here really is the politics of illusion. What you're actually seeing here is an affirmation of Prime Minister Modi and the BJP's hold over the crucible of Indian politics. And when we look back on this campaign, two images might strike out which might actually sum up this entire election. Rahul Gandhi, unannounced almost, coming into Rai Bareli, after having dithered on whether he should contest from Amethi or not, he sneaks in almost few hours before his nomination, almost as if, you know, it's an exercise in evasion rather than an exercise in expressing confidence. And on the other side, you have the Prime Minister who comes back, the crowned king, so to speak, who is looking to prove a point that, look, this is no longer an election about if I will be back, it will be by how much I will be back. That's how much I have begun to exercise my influence through the dint of hard work. The rest is, of course, all, you know, optics. The rest is all the frippery that you dress your politics in. But it's important, you know. That's why I was calling this, at some levels, the illusion of optics also.
Yeah. You know,
but fundamentally, I just want to say, Mr. Modi comes into Varanasi seeking a mandate that no one really before him after Nehru has sought, which is a third term.
Yes.
A historical third term. And that's why this has become such an expression, a vote of confidence, so to speak, in his leadership, in the BJP's sort of hegemony over India, and most importantly, in the project that he has envisaged for this country, which extends right up till 2047. He says 24/7 till 2047. So this is really what defines what we're going to see over the next couple of hours.
Absolutely. And, you know, there is a parallel to be drawn between what the Prime Minister is hoping to achieve in his constituency in Varanasi, which is that it's not so much about whether there will be a hat-trick or not. It's about, you know, how impressive the numbers could be, and what the BJP and the NDA are hoping to achieve at the centre government. Because the conversation around them too, around these elections too, is not so much whether there will be a third term, but whether they can do it more handsomely than they managed in the last two terms. And of course, they've said that 370 plus for BJP and 400 plus for the NDA target. But focusing on the Prime Minister's movements today, he's of course going to shortly file his nomination. There has been, of course, a slew of activity at his end in Kashi. He's of course at the Ghat right now. He's doing his puja. Earlier, there was, of course, other, things that he did. But he is possibly going to do something at the Ghats. Maybe take a dip. I'm not sure. I think we're not sure about that. But then he will proceed to the Kal Bhairav temple, who is considered the Kotwal of Kashi. And you do whatever you do, any big thing, any auspicious thing you do with the Kal Bhairav permission. He'll go to the collectorate around 11:30 a.m. to file his nomination, following which the Prime Minister is going to hold a party meeting or a meeting with the party workers at the Rudraksh Convention Centre. A massive show of strength really, Rahul, as I introduce our reporters Aman Sharma and Siddhant Mishra as well. But a massive show of strength. Why do you think that is required? This is the midway of the election process. 4 phases over. We are at the halfway point. But 12 NDA state chief ministers, top ministers of the cabinet, other NDA allies, why do you think that is necessary?
Look, let's not forget that any government that has provided some semblance of stable governance at the center has to do well in Uttar Pradesh or has to have a presence in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh remains the crucible by the sheer dint of the number of Lok Sabha MPs it sends to Parliament. This is, as I told you, rich in symbolism, this nomination, because what does Mr. Modi want to show? He wants to show that, look, here we are ascendant in Uttar Pradesh, we are the ones that are, and they always say this about Uttar Pradesh, that the route to Delhi runs through Lucknow. This is now been proven numerous occasions. You know, while you were saying that, look, the margin is the only thing left in doubt, there are people who have been looking at turnout figures, this, that, the other, the lack of one overarching issue, the fact that this is a personality-less election, etc., suggests that, oh, maybe the BJP is in trouble. We are seeing a repeat of 2004 in 2024. That's what a whole bunch of so-called electoral analysts are saying. Now, even if you look at the UPA, the kernel of its stability came from Uttar Pradesh because it had 54 MPs between the Samajwadi Party and the BSP that were giving it tenuous support from the outside. Okay. So they were assured that, look, okay, in Uttar Pradesh, there is this backup that we have. We can lean on it. This is a cushion. And therefore, the Congress, with about 130 odd seats, could form a government, a pretty stable government, till, of course, the nuclear deal was signed, and then we saw frisson, but that was so much towards the end of their first term. So for 4.5 years, there were, of course, pulls and pressures, but it chugged along. It built on the legacy of the NDA, the economic legacy, and therefore we saw this big growth. All it needed to really do was to keep its hands on the steering wheel, which it did, to be fair to the UPA one. But what you're seeing here is a Prime Minister who is saying that, look, 10 years of anti-incumbency doesn't really affect me. These 10 years of anti-incumbency actually, or this 10 years of incumbency is actually something that we have built upon, and on the basis of our record in office, we are here without shame, without looking shifty in our shoes. We are here to tell you, this is our team. This is the NDA alliance. It stands firm. It stands united. It stands behind our lead, our lead mascot, electoral, political mascot, so to speak.
The captain of the team.
The captain of the team. Call him what you want to. The skipper of this massive Titanic. Of course, that sank. But
not the best analogy.
Not the best analogy. But, the person that we are sort of standing behind, he's the reason why we are here. He's the reason why we are seeking this third term, because of the work that he has done, his vision. And what better occasion than to stand beside him when he's filing that nomination.
Yes, making an occasion out of it. I have to give it to the BJP, and certainly to, Narendra Modi and the PMO. They know how to make an occasion out of something, right? And this is exactly what is happening.